Hello friends, welcome back to Aunt Debbie's Boutique. This is the last of a series of holiday decor in our Halloween series. Today we're going to make a wall hanging. And what you will need is a piece of fabric that is going to be the front of your wall hanging, and it needs to be 14 inches wide and 22 inches in length. Then you need something for the back, and the back is going to wrap around and show ever so slightly on the front. It's going to make a border. We're going to do a self border on this. And it needs to be 18 inches wide by 22 inches long. And then our batting needs to be 16 inches wide by 21 inches long. Our finished size is going to be 14 by 20. So you're going to need a piece of fabric to make your ghost out of that is also 14 inches wide by 20 inches long. And I drew up this pattern and I based it on the little ghosts. I don't know if you can see them, but there's little ghosts in the background of this orange fabric that I've used a lot in all of our designs. So I drew a ghost that was similar to that. And I traced it with chalk. And then I went around and used my Nancy Zeman little seam gauge that I just love. Set it to 1 inch and just made a 1 inch border around this. And you'll see what we're going to do with that later. Now we're going to need something for eyes. And I didn't want to have to worry about raw edges. So I just got this, this is iron-on like repair kits for like jeans and stuff like that. Let me see if I can find my package of it. Iron-on patches. And I'm just going to iron on some eyes. Okay, the first thing we need to do is to cut out our ghost on the outside line. And I will have this template available in my Etsy store. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, I'm going to have all of my Halloween templates in there. But most of them are simple, you can draw yourself. Okay, let's lay this aside for now. We're going to take the front of our fabric and let's mark a 2-inch line across the top. This is going to be for our casing to hang it later. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fold on that line and iron fold in that so I know where that's at. Then we're going to take our backing fabric. And we want to make sure it's, see, this is a directional print. The cats need to go the right direction. So let's lay that out with the right side down. Then we're going to lay, our batting on it, and it's going to line up pretty much with the top and the sides. It actually may stick over a little bit. We're going to trim our batting down later. And then we're going to place our front fabric so that this little crease we put in it is even with the top of our back. So I'm going to pull my batting fabric down just a little bit so I can see it. And I want to center it. You can actually measure it if you want. Now, I'm going to put some pins around it, and I'm going to unfold this part now and just let it stick up at the top. Now I want to take it over to the machine and quilt it. And I'm going to quilt it in a pattern. Luckily, this has a nice design, so I don't have to draw a bunch of lines on here. But I'm going to do every other row of dots going this way and this way. But we're not quilting our casing up here at the top. So this part sticks out for later. So I'm going to take it over to the machine, and you can follow along for a little while I quilt it. Now let's iron it. And then we want to cut just the batting right next to the top fabric. Be careful and don't cut through your back. Might be easier to do it this way. Okay, now let's move our ironing board for now. And I want to go around and trim this. Looks like I've got a little bit of batting sticking out here. Going to trim it down so that it's 1 inch sticking out all the way around. I have to trim this ever so slightly here. We just barely have 1 inch on that side. So I'll probably suggest in my pattern that cut it another inch shorter, longer. Okay, now we're going to fold over just a teeny tiny bit on each edge there. We'll need our ironing board back. I hope this is where you can see it, what I'm doing. And then we're going to go around and we're going to fold this in halfway. And iron it in place. Now we'll turn it again and pin it in place on all three sides. Now, before we take it over to the machine and top stitch it, I'm also going to fold this back ever so slightly, and we're going to stitch that down when we're over there. Okay, let's go to the machine and top stitch our binding. Now let's give this a really good steam press again. And now it's time to put our ghost on. Now I know you're wondering about this extra inch, and I'll show you in a little bit. But I'm going to set him on here so that our inside chalk line fits within the area. And I'm going to take it to the machine and stitch on the chalk line. Now I went back and trimmed this a little better so I could trim off all the white chalk. And my resistance to chalk is that it's sometimes hard to get out. But I felt like it was necessary for the demonstration to do it in chalk so you could see it real well. But you might want to use an erasable pen or something when you do yours. Okay, let's take it over to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to stitch this for right now. I'm going to pin it a little bit before I go. Now I'm going to take the pins out. And I'm going to go around and slit this about every ½ inch all the way around. Okay, now we want to rough this up. Might even squirt it with a little bit of water or spray starch just to fluff it a little more. And if you like it really curly, you could have, you can do the slits before you sew it on and wash it. You'd have to go back then and draw your line on because that'll erase your line. But that will make it really fringe up. Okay. Now I need to put some eyes on there. Could even put some white eyes. Oh, huh. Don't do what I did. I just put it on the wrong side. It stuck to my iron. Let's see if we can still get it ironed down. Have to fluff those some more. Okay, the only thing we have left is our casing on the back. And I'm going to turn under 1/4 inch. And then turn this over again. And we want to make sure we don't stitch our fringe here, so don't fold it over too far, and we will move our fringe out of the way before we stitch this down. And this, I keep calling it a casing, it's really a rod pocket like you would use for a curtain. You can put a dowel rod in here or a curtain rod, a small curtain rod. Okay. I'm going to use some tape and tape that down before I start stitching. Okay, I'm going to take it to the machine and sew it right across there. Okay, I'm going to take my tape off now. And that'll fringe a little better once whatever you squirted on it is dry. I'm gonna iron my pocket. And I'm gonna try to get some of that white chalk off of there. And again, I probably would have stitched this with purple thread if it was just for me, but I wanted you to be able to see. Okay, put this on a rod and hang it up, and it matches and goes with all the rest of your decor. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and if so, would you like and subscribe? This is the end of our Halloween series, but next time we'll be starting a Thanksgiving series, and we'll have all new projects. We will be doing table runners and pot holders and placemats and all that, but they'll be totally different ones. So if you'd like to learn how to make some more holiday decor, please tune in next time. Thank you. Remember, whatever you do, do it to the glory of the Lord.